No local or state cops. None. By order of the governor and the mayor. Everybody should understand.
So then why is Trump
now, here's the
backing
second
down?
part of the story. He's not backing down. He's trying to defuse. Why would you say he was backing down? You want a CNN contract? And I've had it. You don't like what I'm saying? Blank you, because I'm telling you the truth.
So Bill O'Reilly was on News Nation. He's upset. I'm upset. We're all upset. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, comment, and check out some of our other videos. Let's get into it.
BillO'Reilly.com. Bill, it is good to see you. Trump has clearly changed his worldview over the weekend. How would you characterize it? Backing down, strategic pause, pivot? What's happening?
Well, he wants to stop the madness. Donald Trump knows this is no good for anybody, and he will. He's going to make a deal with Walz. I don't know what the deal will be. But the most important part of this for News Nation viewers isn't about the individual politicians. It's about the misreporting of this story in the totality. There are two different stories here. The first story is the violence against the two people who are dead. There should be an FBI task force in Minneapolis right now, right this moment. I don't know if there is one because Kash Patel has not held a press conference.
Yeah, maybe there is.
Where is the FBI director? Where? You can't have Homeland Security investigate Homeland Security. You can't. Why do we have the FBI? You have so many potential crimes in the city of Minneapolis and the state of Minnesota. The only bureau who could do it would be the Federal Bureau of Investigation. Where are they? Where is Kash Patel? All right? You can debate videotape all day long. You can say whatever you want to say, but there has to be an overriding authority in this state. And there isn't. Did you see, Leland, and because you've been studying it like I have, one Minneapolis police officer protecting ICE against the demonstrators? Did you see one?
No, but that's not the FBI's job to investigate them.
The answer is no. The answer is no. You didn't see one because there wasn't one there. And this is a public safety issue
doing their job
with dead people. No local or state cops. None. By order of the governor and the mayor.
Disgraceful.
That is insane.
Well,
Now,
that may be insane, Bill, but you want Kash Patel to investigate the governor because he didn't order the police to protect ICE?
You bet I do.
That's the solution?
You bet not protecting ICE. If the FBI comes in and finds that the agents, the federal agents, one ICE, one Border Patrol, all right, were derelict in their duties or used malice, I want those people indicted. Clear? Are we clear?
Clear.
But on the same token, you have got two elected officials that could be charged with rebellion and insurrection under the U.S. Code 2383.
They're creating the problem.
This is a rebellion. That is why the people are dead. Nobody brings a gun, a loaded gun, nobody, CNN, to a confrontation with federal agents who are under siege. No one does that. That man did. Because, in my opinion, he was so crazed by the situation, so agitated, as I am right now, that he had lost all judgment.
Yeah, that's the biggest problem here. The media, the mayor, the governor, they're putting out a warped sense of reality to the public, and a lot of people are buying into this. And then also a lot of these people are paid to go out there and do this. If you interfere with law enforcement activity physically, you are asking for trouble. Bad things will happen to you. Sensible people know this. These people have no business disrupting law enforcement. They don't agree with them arresting illegal immigrants. That's fine. That's their right. You can protest. You can video. You cannot interfere. And the governor and the mayor and the police chief are not helping the situation at all.
Now, listen to me. The authorities, governor, mayor, feds, have to control that. The controlling bureau is the FBI, not
Bill
Homeland
is
Security.
enraged.
They're doing what they're ordered to do. Find and detain people who should not be here.
Okay. So you write, who is the modern John
Leland?
C. Calhoun about Walz, a despicable South Carolina senator who actually wanted the Civil War to happen. Do you think Walz wants the Civil War to happen and therefore should be arrested as though he was a Southern governor or something in the early or late 1850s?
I think there is evidence that should be examined, and you might be able to charge Walz with insurrection under the. You want me to read it to you? I got it right here. It fits Walz
would
to a
that be
T.
good for America?
I don't care. Look,
Good for America.
anarchy is the worst thing that could happen.
Hey, if I get arrested for robbing a bank, nobody cares if that's good for America or not. I broke the law. I'm going to be arrested. I'm going to be prosecuted, and I'm going to serve my sentence. How is it not good for America for Tim Walz to be held accountable if he's done something wrong or illegal in the eyes of the federal government? He should be held accountable just like anybody else. That's the problem with a lot of these people. They're willing to accept the fact that somehow politicians are not supposed to be held accountable if it means real consequences for them.
Right now, in this present moment, de-escalation is the best thing that can happen. So Holman meeting with Frey has my 100% endorsement. Walz calling Trump, vice versa, 100%. But that doesn't excuse what has happened and is happening, which is a rebellion against the United States law passed by Congress.
That's absolutely right.
By a state under the governance of Walz and a city where Frey runs. Look, if you continue, and I say you in a general sense, to allow states and cities to not enforce federal law, you don't have a country. It goes. Okay? Everybody should understand.
So then why is Trump
now, here's the
backing
second
down?
part of the story. He's not backing down. He's trying to defuse. Why would you say he was backing down? You want a CNN contract? He's not backing down. He's diffusing the way he should.
He wants to work at CNN.
Now, here's the most important part of this whole thing, unreported. Okay? There is a man in Shanghai, China, an American citizen.
That was good, Bill. That was a good
His name
good
is
shot.
Neville Roy Singham. He works with the Beijing government. He is funneling millions of dollars into the United States of America through 501s like Party for Socialism and Liberation, Democratic Socialists of America, Minnesota Immigration Rights Action Committee. There he is, okay? Connecticut-born, 71 years old, billionaire tech guy. He is funneling money here to these radical organizations who are then agitating professional people, communists mostly, because Singham's a communist, all right, to go in and foster rebellion. You heard that story reported? That is absolutely true. The man has been investigated by the FBI in the past, this Singham character, okay? This isn't some organic thing. This is a foreign power, Beijing, using this American citizen who lives openly in Shanghai in luxury, knowing that this man is funneling tens of millions, probably more, into this country to try to destroy the government. What the deuce is that? Where are you, New York Times? All right? That's the second part of the story. There's a local federal story, and there's the international story. And I've had it. You don't like what I'm saying? Blank you, because I'm telling you the truth. And this has got to stop and be exposed across the board. No more sanctuary states and cities. No more of this insurrection. It stops. And federal agents keep the gun in the holster unless you can't. Not I might. Got it, everybody?
You know, something else I would be really curious about, has any of this money, this fraud money from these Minnesota social programs, now totaling in the billions of dollars, has any of this money come back to Minnesota to fund some of these agitators and rioters who follow ICE around and try to stop them from doing their job and arresting people, and really just sow chaos in the streets of Minneapolis? It's bad news, bad media for the Trump administration. It's bad media for ICE, and that's what they want. So I wouldn't be surprised to find out, and we may find out, that some of that money has come back to Minnesota for that purpose.
Why don't you think the FBI has indicted him or any of the people who are being paid, who are actually in the United States in these protests or in this resistance movement?
I don't know. I don't know where Kash Patel is. He should have a press conference tomorrow. I don't know. All I know is I'm a journalist and I'm telling you the truth. I am sick and tired of false reporting based on ideology, of pie in the sky garbage, of people like Whoopi Goldberg accusing agents of murder. How dare you? How dare you? What about due process, Miss Goldberg? And Disney knows that's going to happen.
And they keep her on TV.
Knows it and puts it on. I'm fed up with it.
Okay. Where does this go from here? Betting odds right now, who will be the first to leave Trump's cabinet? Kristi Noem, 40%, Pam Bondi, 19%.
At this point, it would be cheap shot for me, who isn't in the meetings, doesn't know the dynamic, okay, to say, well, Noem should go or this one should go. Americans can hold an opinion on it, but I'm a fact-based guy. I don't have enough information there. And I don't have enough information to convict Walz or Frey either. But there's certainly grounds for them to be investigated on the Insurrection Act, both of them. And there are grounds to investigate the ICE and Border Patrol agents who pulled the trigger. Those investigations should be transparent. Patel should be holding weekly press conferences, and they should begin this week.
Yeah, that's a good point by Bill O'Reilly about the FBI. It would be nice to hear more from Kash Patel. It'd be nice if he'd come out and have a press conference, explain what they're doing, what their plans are in relation to a lot of this stuff. You see evidence now of foreign money being spent in Minnesota to prop up these rioters. And then now there's some discussion about whether or not Kristi Noem and some of the other people within the administration will survive this. And that's completely up to President Trump. If he's happy with their job performance, they will stay. If he's not happy, then they will be gone. I personally have no problem with the job that Kristi Noem is doing. I think she's doing a very good job. I think that the media portrays everything in such a bad light to the American people that, you know, it really puts her under fire, and it puts her leadership maybe under a lot of scrutiny and in a bad light. But that's intentional on their part. They want to make the operations there in Minnesota look as bad as possible. Always negative coverage against the president, against the secretary, against ICE, and against the administration as a whole. So, you know, for myself, I watch what happens there. I use my own eyes, my own judgment, to determine if I feel like ICE is doing something wrong or if the secretary is doing a good job or a bad job. In my opinion, they're following the law, they're doing what needs to be done, and they're facing extreme resistance from the governor, the mayor, the police department, and the paid protesters there in Minnesota. So it's a difficult battle, and whether or not Kristi Noem survives, we'll have to wait and find out. But I'm supportive of the administration and really how they're handling this. It is difficult. There's maybe things they could do differently, and I think they're looking to make some changes, but I don't think they're changing at all what their agenda is and what their mission is of getting dangerous, illegal immigrants out of the country as fast as possible and dealing with all of the other illegal immigrants that are in the country that need to be removed. And it's a big job. It's a difficult job, but they're taking it very seriously, and I'm glad to see that. So let me know what you guys thought about the Bill O'Reilly interview there on News Nation. Got a little bit heated. He got a little bit angry, and he's upset over the whole situation, especially at the media coverage that's going on there. And he's pretty upset with the governor and the mayor there in Minnesota, and talking about potential charges of insurrection against both of them. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments, and I'll see you on the next video.